So, Jeremie, you are the co-head of ESG, Center
Yes.
of Excellence, at KPMG France. We've been in contact several times, in the past weeks and months about our, you were incredibly helpful as well, to show us the path to that compliance road. And I just would like to start, maybe you want to present a little bit more about, because I love when you are saying that KPMG France is a société à mission as well, so maybe it's important, definitely.
Yes. First, we are well known for being auditors, but we are also consultants, we have also lawyers, and we have also bookkeepers. And we are a purpose-led company. A year ago we announced that we will be a purpose-led company here at Change Now. So this is our first year, and we are very happy of that. And in that context, we decided to really accelerate on ESG. This is one of the two pillars of our strategy for 2025. And we decided to accelerate on ESG, and so we have first a Center of Excellence, meaning that this is an organization that I'm co-leading with two goals, serving clients, but also serving internally, and onboarding everyone on ESG. Just to give you a small overview, every year we are training more than 100 of auditors to audit non-financial data every year to make it happen.
This is incredible, yeah.
And
this is necessary.
That's necessary. And now in France, we are an ESG community of now 350 consultants and auditors that are working every day on ESG.
Congratulations, and we need your help, but you are also kind of sometimes disappointed as well when you are, visiting a company about the non-financial data, are they under control or not? So, and we met recently, and you mentioned an anecdote that was very, 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 eye-opening for me about the lack of communications actually within companies to boost that, ESG initiatives, and the anecdote was, and it's also very, it's also showing the lack of communications, because even at the end of a board meeting, the person that you were trying to educate, the boardroom, at the end they were telling you, but Jeremie, this ESG problem, it's punctual or structural, So can you imagine, so what could we say about that? That communication that is absolutely essential within companies at all levels to really just understand what's happening and the needs from a regulation standpoint, etc. What's your take on it? What are you seeing, and why it's so essential?
We see more and more progress.
Ouais.
I should be honest, but companies still have to progress too. We see progress. Just another anecdote. A month and a half ago, one of my clients, Cake 40 company, listed company, we were working on a taxonomy reporting, quite technical. And at the end of the project, the client said to me, the CEO would like to discuss this with you. His assistant give you 45 minutes, but be sharp. If you are more than 20 minutes, you'll be lucky. I spent an hour and a half with him discussing ESG regulations and discussing how to make it happen and discussing how to change business models to be more ESG.
Going beyond.
Beyond. An hour and a half. He started with saying, I have 20 minutes. So now this is a board question. This is an executive committee question. 2 years ago, we had project leaders. We sometimes we had CSR leaders, we had CSR directors. Now we have CFOs, we have CEOs, we have COOs, we have chief HR officers. So it starts to be really an executive committee
collaborating.
Question. Yes, but to be honest, we are at the stage of engagement, and I would say, fair understanding of what's happening. But we still need action. And this is where we need alignment, we need commitment, and this is difficult. Because we need to raise awareness to fully understand what's happening, to fully understand the risks, to fully understand the opportunities, and also alignment and commitment. And now we spend more and more time with training executive committees, training boards, training audit committees, so that they fully understand concepts, they fully understand regulation, they fully understand and turn it into strategic decisions. And this is really key. And training, onboarding, discussing, aligning, taking time to align is absolutely key. And by the way, I love the title of our discussion, the 3 C's. Maybe you know that, but 3 C's is a strategic framework that we use in marketing and consulting. It's the, if I remember well, it's the company, it's the customer, and the competition.
Yes.
And you use another 3 C's, meaning that we have to change the lens. We have to change perspectives. And so I like the idea that now we have to be more collaborative to tackle that topics around ESG.
And you mentioning communications internally, there is plenty of initiatives that are absolutely, that are already working incredibly well. But there is sometimes, not enough communication about. And can you just tell us about another anecdote when you were that was absolutely important for me? I said, oh my God, if the CFO was able, the CFOs were able to actually talk more about the present benefit for future, for free cash flow. Maybe it's a little bit technical, but at least it's something that is absolutely that can speak to a CEO.
Yes, you're right. In fact, in that new collaborations, for sure, there is something which is still missing, and we are working a lot on it, which is how to better align ESG and finance. How to onboard ESG in finance by design. And we had a question, it was last summer, we were working on aligning an executive committee on their ESG strategy. And we started to discuss with the CFO, and he said, Jeremie, come on, I have an issue. It's a food company, and they decided to pay a year ago their suppliers. For one reason, it's to prevent child labor in Southeast Asia and in Africa. And the board said, guys, you're crazy. My working capital, this is crazy, stop that. And we started to think of the potential effects. What are the consequences of that choice? And we started to say, okay, but I'm avoiding this, and I'm preventing this, and I have a gain on that. And so we started to map their free cash flow value tree, okay? And in front of each branch of the value tree, we started to say, okay, this is the impact of my decision. And then we made a comparison, year -1, year n. And at the end, they increased the net they increased the gross margin, and they increased lots of P&L lines. So at the end of the day, they could say, okay, we decided to decrease the working capital at some point in the year, but at the end of the fiscal year, in fact, we increased the free cash flow.
This is super important to mention that this exercise done properly, the right way, with the right decisions, but communicated the right way, in a collaborative way, is helping all this ESG and that becoming a forever company. Definitely.
Yes, and it was interesting because a few minutes ago, Alexandra said that there are too many engagements and too few actions. And when I'm looking at how sometimes we build decarbonization pathways, we don't onboard enough financial planning. And now we decided at KPMG that if we deliver a decarbonization pathway, we include necessarily the financial planning analysis perspectives.
So there's a beginning of a dream team already.
Yes.
Identified. And how nowadays companies who want to, of course, become forever companies can stay on top of all those latest legislations and make sure that they are compliant. I was saying that part of my role as a software vendor is our role is to mask that complexity. But do you have more tips on how to do that? And is it about what's your thought about that?
First, we should recognize, and Julien said it a few minutes ago, that data, there's a large amount of data. So I think that the first thing is just to map what's existing, what is not existing. And it's what's existing, what is the level of quality, and the granularity. This is probably the first thing. It's just what we call gap analysis. Just understand where you stand, and then work on a roadmap very pragmatically and focusing on high priorities, okay? Based on, of course, as you said a few minutes ago, on the materiality assessment. So data would be key, absolutely key, and data in a de-siloed approach. It's absolutely key. Really, our clients that are ahead of the game are really agile on data. They already mapped where the data are, who are the contributors, and they are still working in improving the internal control on the data flow.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely key. And maybe one last comment is, start. Just start. Don't wait to have perfect data. Don't wait to have perfect controls. Start. Try. And at the end, and then progressively improve. So
how can technology stacks, like Sweep, for example, but other vendors, but what these technology stacks how can they play that role, to allow companies to hit their targets, their climate targets? Are you, because, of course,
No, but Julien said it.
Yeah.
Make it easy.
Oui, make it easy.
Just make it easy.
Make it easy, make it updated for the companies.
Yes, and made it robust and auditable.
Robust and auditable, yeah. Yeah. I strongly believe in the digital, to oil that dialogue, that collective climate actions. We are always mentioning that. Those technology stacks within the whole climate strategy are, important to oil that internal conversation, external conversation. What we are showing with, what we are providing with Sweep for Compliance is really something that we are proud of to onboard even you as external auditors, so that you can, just work in a under controlled environment when it comes to extra financial data, which is super important. And I hope you get it, and we are here to help, definitely. Jeremie, thank you very much for your. Do you have some final word or something that you want to add to this conversation?
2 words. First, don't be afraid. Move from commitment to action. Ouais. This is key.
Yes.
And second, don't be afraid. Try, improve, onboard, train, and we'll do it together.
But be a little bit afraid of CSRD, right?
Reasonably afraid.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for inviting me. That was nice.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Super
a lot.
warm on the stage. Merci beaucoup. And yes, so some learnings about new sustainability disclosures, yes, regulations which requires companies to measure and report extra financials and more. But the most important is that by anticipating regulatory changes and compliance risks, you can become a forever company. Okay, you have to keep that in mind.